Hi students, welcome back to Venkat Golla Tutorials. In this connection we are going to be discuss about red blood cells. So red blood cells are usually known as RBC. These are also called erythrocytes. Here erythro means red and cyte means cells. So red cell present in the blood, so it is called red blood cells. They are usually biconcave in shape. So shape is biconcave in mammals, including man. But in the case of camel, it is oval in shape. In other animals like fishes, amphibians, the shape of RBC is biconvex in shape. In other mammals other than humans, in mammals like other than humans, they are disc-like structure, disc-like, round, and some of them in circular in shape. And the diameter of RBC, diameter for RBC in humans or in mammals is about, in humans, about 7 to 8 microns. And the largest diameter, largest size and diameter of RBC have been seen in salamanders and amphibians. It is about 80 microns. The smallest size of RBC, smallest size and diameter is musk deer. Musk deer is about 1.5 microns. 1.5 microns. And coming to the number of RBCs, number of RBC, red blood cells, per cubic milliliter of blood. In humans, that means in males, about 5 to 5.5 millions. In females, about 4 to 4.5 millions. In the case of children, the number of RBC is about 7 to 8 millions. 7 to 8 millions. And in pregnant women, the number of RBCs are usually more than the normal. And the people who lived in high altitude ranges, high altitude, ranges like hills about 4,200 meters of height. Number of RBCs is usually more than normal. More number of RBCs than to the normal. And the people who are doing strenuous exercises, strenuous work and exercises, physical work, and they have usually more number of RBCs, more number of RBCs than the normal people. These RBCs are produced from these red blood cells, anucleated. They have no nucleus, anucleated. But in matured RBC, no nucleus, but in immature RBCs, nucleus is present. Immature RBCs have nucleus and other cell organelles. But in matured RBC, erythropoiesis, no nucleus, no mitochondria, other organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies or Golgi complex, etc. The number of RBCs or increases, and another important is vertebrates without RBC. Vertebrates without RBC, for example, is called camel eyes, ice fish. We can call it as a camel ice fish. Or sorry, it's not a camel ice fish, it is crocodile ice fish. So vertebrate without RBC is a crocodile ice fish. It is live in a very high oxygen, very high oxygen rich cold water. And transport of freely, and oxygen is transport oxygen freely in their plasma. It is dissolved in the plasma and then freely move through the plasma. Freely through their plasma, it gets dissolved. The increase the number of RBCs or decrease the number of RBCs usually. So number of RBCs or decreases or increases certain cases decreases and increases. Increase the normal increase abnormal increase the number of increase the RBC is called polycythemia. Polycythemia. And decrease the number of RBC is called erythropenia. Erythropenia. Next point is increasing the number of RBC is called polycythemia. Decrease the number of RBC is called erythropenia. The red blood cells have respiratory pigment. Red blood cells has a pigment called respiratory pigment called hemoglobin. It has a pigment called hemoglobin. This hemoglobin is consists of globin and protein. Heme and protein. Heme means iron. Heme means iron molecule, and protein means globin means a protein. Globulin. Protein. So heme and globulin. Globin means a protein. It is a red color pigment, that is why RBC is usually red in color. So the color of RBC is red in color due to presence of hemoglobin. This hemoglobin is effectively carrier of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So effectively carrier of oxygen and CO2, carbon dioxide. This hemoglobin hemoglobin is bind with oxygen and form temporary compound called oxyhemoglobin. Later on, this oxyhemoglobin is dissociates into hemoglobin and oxygen. So this oxygen is released into the tissues and perform this. This oxygen is taken by the cells and perform their function. Now these red blood cells live for RBCs lifespan. Lifespan of RBC is 120 days or 4 months. After 120 days, this RBC is destroyed. The red blood cells are destroyed in spleen. So spleen is called a graveyard of RBC. Graveyard of RBC. Why it is called graveyard of RBC means per every minute about 2 millions of red blood cells destroyed in spleen, and per day is about 2 lakh millions of RBCs destroyed in spleen. That is equal to destroyed in spleen. Hence, the spleen is called graveyard of RBC. And that or else it is equivalent to 1% of red blood cells are destroyed per every day. At the same time, same number of RBCs are added to the blood. How many are destroyed? The same number will be added to the blood. Per minute is about 2 millions. 2 millions per minute. 2 lakhs millions per day, where they are destroyed in spleen. Hence spleen is called graveyard of RBC. So spleen is called graveyard of RBC. They live for 120 days. And new RBCs are produced. New red blood cells are produced from bone marrow. Produced from bone marrow of a long flat bones like humerus, femur, ribs, and so on. Long flat bones. The process of formation, the production of RBC is called erythropoiesis. Production as well as maturation also we can say that. Production of RBC is called erythropoiesis. They produce from bone marrow. They produce from bone marrow in adults. So red blood cells are produced in bone marrow in adults, but in the case of embryonic children in embryonic stages, it is from the spleen. And another important point is vitamin B9 and vitamin B12 are essential for the formation of red blood cells. So vitamin B9 means folic acid. This is called folic acid, B complex vitamin called folic acid. And B12, as you know, there is cyanocobalamin, are essential for the formation of red blood cells. And after the lifespan is finished, they are breaking down. The breakdown of RBC is called hemolysis. Breakdown of RBC is called hemolysis. Lysis means breaking down, hemo means hemoglobin parts. And after the hemoglobin, this means hemolysis, this takes place, this hemolysis takes place, it occurs in liver. After the hemolysis, hemoglobin, that means converted into bilirubin pigment, in a yellow color pigment called bilirubin. And after the hemolysis, the iron, hemon protein, iron, Fe, ions are reabsorbed for the formation of hemoglobin. Then the rest of part becomes bilirubin, that will be what accumulate in the liver. Later on it is discarded out along with the bile juice. So this is about red blood cells. So red blood cells is usually called RBC, erythrocytes. Technical term is erythrocytes, and they are biconcave in shape in humans. Diameter is 78 microns, and the largest WRBC is called salamander, about 80 microns. The smallest size of RBC is muscadeer, is about 1.5 microns. The number is in males 5 to 5.5 millions, in females 4 to 4.5 millions, in children 7 to 8 millions. The pregnant women, it becomes normal, more than normal. In people who lives in high altitude ranges, usually more than normal persons. And the people who are working strenuous work and physical work, more physical work, they usually have more number of RBCs. Red blood cells are anucleated, because no nucleus in immature RBC, but exception is camel, camel. So camel is a mammal, though it is mammal, it do not have normally do not have nucleus, but here in the case of the camel has a nucleus. Nucleus is present. So nucleus is present in the camel RBC. As there is no nucleus and mitochondria, there is a more amount of oxygen gets accumulated, which can be transferred easily. And moreover, there is no mitochondria in RBC, so therefore there is no chance for using of oxygen for aerobic respiration. So it cannot perform aerobic respiration because it's not required. And another important is the vertebrates without RBC is called crocodile ice fish. It is usually lives in high oxygen rich cold water. So therefore hemoglobin gets dissolved in the plasma of their blood. Most of the RBCs they start in the spleen, some extent in the liver also. So most of RBCs they start in the spleen, some extent in the liver cells also, very few. So the spleen is called graveyard of RBC because the more number per day, about 2 lakhs of RBCs are start in the spleen. So it is called the graveyard of RBC. So vitamin B9 and B12 is very much essential for the formation of RBC. The breakdown of RBC is called hemolysis. After the hemolysis, hemoglobin is converted into a bilirubin pigment. This bilirubin is accumulated in the bile juice and then discarded out After the hemolysis process is done, the iron from the hemoglobin is reabsorbed to form reabsorb and retain in the hemoglobin, reabsorb and retain in bone marrow for the formation of hemoglobin. I hope you all understand this. If you like this video, please share and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.